Man, Chucky, also known as the good guy. I feel like soon his name will be changed into the bad boy. And girls love bad boys.
I mean, I love bad boys.
But not when they are 29 inches tall. Like seriously, my penis is 1/4 of the Chucky's height. What I'm saying is that developers have unnecessarily nerfed Chucky again. No one asked for that, it wasn't needed.
I think we did a pretty good job so far.
But let's talk about it. Oh, and before we talk about it, don't forget to subscribe if you are into Dead by Daylight. Alright, so it's no secret that Chucky is one of my favorite killers in the game. Of course, he doesn't have that BBC, but Chucky is a very unique killer in a way because this is the first killer ever to be fully playable in a third-person perspective, and Chucky is very short, which makes it very hard for survivors to notice this killer in specific scenarios, especially on the maps with a lot of grass, and you can pull some amazing mind games with this killer. And mind gaming with this killer is fun not only because he is short, but also because his power allows him to be undetectable for a pretty hefty duration of time, which might confuse survivors because being undetectable means that survivors cannot hear your terror radius, so there's no heartbeat, and I love this killer for those reasons. And of course, with this killer having an ability to become undetectable and being so little, not to mention that the third-person perspective grants this killer a little bit of an extra field of view, on paper this killer might look pretty overpowered, and honestly he would be if he wasn't so slow. Developers have made him one of the slower killers, unlike most killers who can walk at a speed of 4.6 meters a second. Chucky can only walk at a speed of 4.4 meters a second, which makes him slower than an average Jamaican turtle. Also, his slice and dice ability is pretty difficult to control. It requires a lot of patience, and even if you have a bunch of hours on this killer, it doesn't mean that you will be precise with his ability, because I got to tell you that his dash is pretty unprecise, leaving you with many possibilities to miss your hits. Just because of two facts, his speed and his inability to apply map pressure, this killer was never overpowered. But he was always fun to play in a very unique way. I mean, Chucky is my go-to killer if I want to play some mind games with survivors. It used to be the Doctor before, but who the fuck plays Doctor in 2024? And I remember when this killer was released, Chucky used to be able to scamper under the pallets with a single click of a button. Of course, you had to have your ability charged up, but other than that, there were no extra requirements. In fact, there was some add-on which would literally destroy the pallet as soon as you scamper under it, which made it incredibly fun to play Chucky. I remember playing Chucky as soon as this killer got released, and I was thinking about literally maining this killer and only playing Chucky because it's such a unique experience to play this killer. Now, of course, survivors started complaining about Chucky being overpowered because he could scamper under the pallets, and I disagree with that. As I mentioned before, Chucky was never overpowered, if you asked me, but to be fair, Chucky had very little to no counterplay after he scampered under the pallet because he would get very easy hits after he did so. However, typically after scampering, he would run out of his power, and the cooldown used to be much longer than it is right now, so to be fair, he would be just a regular speed killer and survivors would escape towards another pallet, you know. But a couple months ago, developers decided to remove Chucky's ability to scamper under pallets and instead only allow him to scamper under pallets while using the slice and dice attack, which is useless because if you know, you know that after you scamper under the pallet while using slice and dice attack, you are extremely unprecise and more than likely you are going to simply hit a wall or something like that. But to be fair, developers had also buffed this killer that day. They reduced his cooldown times, meaning that Chucky is now able to use his power more frequently. frequently, right? So you could look at it either as a buff or as a nerf, but most Chucky mains, and even though I was never a Chucky main, but I really loved this killer and I absolutely hated these changes. But after these changes, developers haven't touched this killer in a while, which was fair because Chucky was in a pretty decent spot. He wasn't too weak or too overpowered, he was fairly balanced, and there were many Chucky mains, including some that are my friends right now. But recently the new Dead by Daylight's patch has come, and in this patch there are some changes for the good guy. Apparently developers have increased hide-ho mode's cooldown to 14 seconds. And you might think, okay, they have increased the cooldown time, maybe they have brought back his ability to scamper under pallets. Nope, they didn't. Instead, the buff that they gave to this killer is they increased slice and dice duration to 1.8 seconds. It used to be 1.2 seconds before. So they have increased his slice and dice abilities duration, right? So that's great. Nope, because they have decreased slice and dice movement speed to 8 meters a second, and it used to be 10 meters a second. So now, while using this ability, you will be slower than ever before. So you tell me, is this a nerf or a buff? Because honestly, I'm very annoyed. Why the fuck would they do these changes to Chucky? Why? He was in a good spot. Who was complaining? Nobody was complaining about this killer, you know? There are killers with literal problems like Skull Merchant, Freddy, Trapper. The new killer, the Houndmaster, is absolutely broken in a way because she's bugged, you know? Even twins are not perfectly balanced, you know? Why the fuck would they touch Chucky? I have no idea, bro. But, you know, developers, please stop making unnecessary changes to the killers in this game, or even to some perks. You know, there are so many unnecessary changes that happen so frequently, and instead focus on something that people are complaining about, that the majority is complaining about. Because instead of nerfing Chucky, you could get a license for Mia Khalifa to become a survivor in the game, or let's say someone like Johnny Sins to become a killer with his 7 inches. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, guys? You definitely know. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Comment down below your opinions. Chucky is still kind of fun to play. I really hope they will not mess him up even more, but it is what it is. That's life, and you cannot change anything. At least he is a pretty unique killer, so I really appreciate that. And I'm still talking because I want to extend this video up to 8 minutes because I need some extra money, you know, so I'm still talking. La 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 la. See you later. Bye bye.